So you had an affair, and now you're in love with two people. What's next? Welcome to the Wisdom of Sex, where we explore the deepest questions about relationships, intimacy, and everything in between. I'm your host, Dr. Wisdom, and today's topic is one of the most complicated situations we can face in love and relationships. What do you do when you feel like you're in love with two people? In my first episode, I discussed whether a relationship can last after having an affair, so I thought it would be interesting to continue the topic with a twist. What happens when you have an affair and you have feelings for both your partner and the person you're having an affair with? What do you do next? How do you tell either party? And most importantly, how do you move forward? I won't address children or how to talk to children in this episode. That may have to be another episode in itself, so get cozy on the couch and let's unpack it. First, let's get to the heart of what's going on emotionally. Being in love with two people can be an overwhelming and deeply conflicting experience. It can feel exhilarating, as if you've unlocked a hidden part of yourself, a source of passion, connection, or fulfillment you hadn't realized was missing. At the same time, it can be incredibly confusing, forcing you to question the foundations of your existing relationship, your personal values, and even your identity. This mix of emotions often creates a whirlwind: guilt over betraying someone you care about, fear of the potential fallout and consequences, and dare I say it, hope. Why hope? Because part of you may see this as an opportunity to explore something new, something that feels exciting and alive. Yet, this hope is often tangled with anxiety as you simultaneously grapple with the very real possibility of losing what you already have. Let me say this first. Your feelings are valid. Human emotions are complex, and it's not unusual to develop feelings for more than one person, particularly if different needs or desires are being met by each relationship. However, while your feelings are valid, they also come with immense responsibility. The choices you make moving forward will define how this story unfolds, not just for you, but for the people you love and care about. Every action, every conversation, and every moment of hesitation or decision has the potential to either build or break trust, deepen or damage relationships, and shape the lives of everyone involved. Taking the time to acknowledge and reflect on your emotions is essential. By exploring their origins, you can begin to outline a path that aligns with your values and takes into account the well-being of all parties involved. Understanding the emotional foundations of your situation will enable you to navigate it with both clarity and compassion. It's worth understanding that these dual feelings often arise when one relationship lacks something the other provides. This doesn't mean that one person is inherently better than the other. Instead, it's about how they meet different emotional or physical needs that may not be fully addressed within your primary relationship. Over time, long-term relationships naturally go through phases, and as life's demands, such as work, parenting, or stress, take over, partners can unintentionally neglect each other's needs. These gaps create vulnerabilities, and when someone new enters the picture who seems to fulfill those needs, it can spark an unexpected connection. For example, someone who feels unheard, unsupported, or unappreciated in their marriage might gravitate towards someone who offers them validation, attention, and understanding. If physical intimacy has diminished or become routine, the excitement of a passionate new connection can feel incredibly alluring. Sometimes, the new person isn't just fulfilling emotional or physical needs, but is also inspiring growth, ambition, or excitement in ways that the current relationship no longer does. It's not always about dissatisfaction with a partner, but about seeking parts of oneself that feel neglected or forgotten. Affairs don't always stem from deep-seated unhappiness in a relationship. They can also be circumstantial. Spending long hours with a colleague, for instance, can create a sense of closeness that blurs professional boundaries. Reconnecting with an old flame online or chatting with someone new on social media can reignite feelings of novelty and nostalgia. Major life transitions, such as starting a new job, moving, or becoming an empty nester, can disrupt the balance of a relationship, leaving someone vulnerable to seeking stability or excitement outside of it. One of the most common drivers of an affair is the intoxicating feeling of newness. Early stages of attraction often bring a surge of dopamine and oxytocin, the honeymoon phase chemicals, which create a powerful and almost addictive high. It often gets confused with being in love when in reality, it's lust. This doesn't mean the new person is better. Rather, they represent novelty, and that novelty reignites feelings of passion, adventure, and being desired. While these feelings may have faded in the primary relationship, they can often be rekindled with effort and open communication between partners. In some cases, an affair reflects unresolved issues or unmet desires within the person having the affair. This isn't necessarily about the spouse or the marriage, but about the individual. Someone may turn to an affair as an escape from feeling trapped in their role as a partner, parent, or provider. The attention and desire they receive from someone new can temporarily boost self-esteem, especially if they've been feeling invisible or unappreciated at home. Others may use an affair to avoid addressing conflicts in their marriage, finding it easier to escape into a new relationship than to face the challenges in their current one. Another factor to consider is the role of boundaries, or the lack thereof. Affairs often happen because clear boundaries weren't set or respected. A friendship can become too close, a professional relationship can turn personal, or a casual connection can take on unexpected intimacy. Emotional affairs, for instance, can develop when someone shares secrets, personal challenges, or deep conversations with another person, creating a bond that feels more intimate than the one they have with their spouse. Once emotional intimacy deepens, it can often pave the way for a physical relationship as well. There's the element of opportunity. Sometimes, affairs happen simply because the chance presents itself. This is not to excuse the behavior, but to acknowledge that when someone is feeling vulnerable, unfulfilled, or disconnected, they may be more likely to act on an opportunity that offers connection or excitement. This underscores the importance of addressing vulnerabilities and disconnects within a relationship before they create space for something or someone else to enter. It's crucial to understand that an affair doesn't necessarily mean the primary relationship is doomed or irreparable. In many cases, it serves as a wake-up call, highlighting areas of the relationship or individual lives that need attention and healing. Whether it's about improving communication, rediscovering intimacy, or exploring personal growth, recognizing the underlying causes of the affair is the first step toward understanding what comes next. If you're in this situation, take the time to reflect deeply. What led you here? Are the feelings you have for the other person filling a void, or are they showing you something about yourself or your relationship that needs to change? Are your feelings really love, or is it lust? Answering these questions will help you navigate the next steps with clarity and intention. Now, let's take a moment to face some hard truths and ground this discussion in reality. When we imagine the aftermath of an affair, it's easy to picture dramatic scenarios where one partner leaves their marriage to pursue a new and exciting relationship. The allure of a fresh start, free from the baggage of the current partnership, can seem compelling. However, the statistics paint a far different picture. Research shows that only about 13% of men actually leave their wives for the other woman. This number is strikingly low, reflecting the complexity of such decisions. Even when men do make the leap, these new relationships often face significant challenges. Trust, already fractured during the affair, rarely reestablishes itself easily. Both parties may carry guilt or unresolved feelings from the previous relationship, creating an emotional undertow that can destabilize the new union. On the other side of the equation, women are far more likely to take the lead when it comes to ending marriages. Research suggests that approximately 69% of divorces are initiated by women, indicating a greater willingness or readiness to make definitive changes when the relationship no longer serves them. However, it's important to understand that infidelity doesn't automatically signal the end of a marriage. In fact, studies show that infidelity accounts for about 20 to 40% of divorces in the United States, but many couples choose to work through these challenges. For some, therapy, honest communication, and time create an opportunity to heal and rebuild trust. These couples often report a renewed sense of connection and a deeper understanding of one another, proving that infidelity doesn't have to define the relationship's end. So, what do these numbers and realities mean for you? They illustrate the profound importance of taking a step back and carefully assessing your situation. Before making any decisions, it's essential to reflect on the emotional, practical, and ethical consequences of your actions. This is not simply a choice between two people. It's a choice about the life you want to build and the person you want to be. If you're considering leaving your marriage for the other person, ask yourself whether the new relationship is rooted in genuine love and compatibility, or if it's simply an escape from unmet needs or unresolved issues in your current relationship. If you're thinking about staying, reflect on whether there is a foundation worth rebuilding and whether you're willing to put in the effort required to repair trust and intimacy. Okay, I originally said I wouldn't talk about children, but they are an undeniable part of this dynamic if you have them. And now that I am in the middle of this podcast, and the more I talk about it, I think I have to, because the decision to stay or leave has a profound impact on their lives, and it's important to weigh the potential outcomes with care and honesty. Many parents choose to stay in a marriage for the sake of their children, and there are valid reasons for doing so. A stable home environment, shared parenting responsibilities, and minimizing upheaval can all benefit kids, particularly younger ones who thrive on routine and consistency. Many studies show that kids do better when both parents are in the home. Children often look to their parents as models for how relationships should function. If parents can successfully rebuild their marriage and demonstrate love, respect, and commitment, it can provide a powerful example of resilience and the importance of working through challenges. In these cases, staying together can foster a sense of security and emotional stability for the children. However, staying together solely for the kids without addressing the problems in the marriage can have the opposite effect. Children are remarkably perceptive, and they can sense tension, unhappiness, or emotional distance between their parents. If the marriage remains strained or conflict persists, children may internalize these dynamics, leading to anxiety, confusion, or feelings of guilt, believing they are somehow responsible for their parents' unhappiness. Worse, they might grow up with an unhealthy model of relationships, learning that love and partnership are about endurance rather than joy, connection, or mutual respect. Staying for the kids can only work if both parents commit to fixing the underlying issues and creating a home environment that fosters growth and happiness for everyone involved. But here's a question. Do you tell your kids? And what do you tell your kids? Well, when it comes to discussing infidelity with children, tread carefully. Most experts agree that young children should not be told about an affair. They lack the emotional maturity to understand such complexities, and revealing this information can place an unnecessary burden on them. The focus for younger children should always be on reassuring them of their safety, stability, and the love of both parents. I can tell you a personal story. In my first marriage, well, we were toxic to one another. Granted, we were like teenagers. Yes, I got pregnant when I was 16 and got married. He was 20. I don't think I need to tell you this was crazy. Looking back, yes, of course, this was crazy. We cheated on each other countless times. I mean, we were kids and were not mature enough to be married, let alone have kids. But my daughter is now 31, an amazing young woman who only recently found out that her dad and I cheated on each other, and it was by accident. It wasn't important for her to know. What good was going to come out of me telling a 5-year-old that mom and dad were getting a divorce because we had affairs left and right? The point is, when you decide to tell them, ask yourself the reason you're telling them. Is it because you want them to hate their other parent as much as you do right now? Is it because you want them to hurt as much as you do now? Do you want them to understand why you're sad? What good will come out of telling them? But for older children or teenagers, the approach can be more nuanced, particularly if they've witnessed or suspected something. In these cases, honesty, delivered in an age-appropriate and non-detailed way, might be warranted to provide clarity and dispel confusion. For example, if a teen confronts you about infidelity they suspect, it may be more damaging to deny it outright, which could harm trust. Instead, a straightforward acknowledgement, such as, "There were challenges in our relationship, and I made choices I regret," can help preserve honesty without oversharing. The key is to avoid framing the situation in a way that forces children to take sides. They should never feel like they have to choose between their parents or judge one as the villain. Instead, emphasize that the affair was an issue between the adults and doesn't change your love or commitment to them as a parent. If a parent leaves the marriage to pursue a relationship with someone else, the impact on children can be significant. For some kids, this can feel like an emotional abandonment, especially if they see the other person as a replacement for their family structure. It's not uncommon for children to feel anger, resentment, or betrayal toward the parent who leaves. They may struggle with trust in their own relationships later in life, fearing that love is fragile or conditional. On the other hand, the way this transition is handled matters deeply. A parent who continues to be present, communicative, and supportive can help mitigate the damage. It's crucial to reassure children that the decision to leave was not about them and doesn't affect how much they are loved or valued. The parent leaving must take responsibility for maintaining their relationship with the child, staying consistent, and creating a safe space for open dialogue about feelings. Which brings me to the parent that has the children. When a parent has primary custody of the children after a separation or divorce, it is vital to approach this responsibility with the children's best interests at heart, not as a tool for personal grievances or control. It's natural to feel anger, betrayal, or sadness if the other parent has left for someone else. But these emotions should never be used to manipulate the relationship between the children and the parent who left. Using children as pawns to punish or hurt the other parent can have lasting, harmful consequences for everyone involved, especially the children. Children are deeply affected by the way their parents handle conflict and transitions. When one parent speaks negatively about the other in front of the children or limits access as a form of retaliation, it puts the children in an impossible position. They may feel pressured to choose sides, which can create anxiety, guilt, and resentment. Over time, this emotional burden can erode their trust in both parents, damage their sense of stability, and affect their ability to form healthy relationships in the future. Children deserve to love and maintain a relationship with both parents without feeling that their loyalty to one will be seen as a betrayal by the other. It's also important to recognize that controlling or limiting access to the other parent without justifiable reasons, such as real safety concerns, not just "I don't want them around that person," can backfire. Children are likely to view such behavior as unfair and may grow resentful toward the parent who is withholding contact. This can damage the bond between the custodial parent and the child, undermining the very relationship they're trying to protect. I was especially mindful of this issue. Even at a young and immature age, I understood that no matter what, I would not speak ill of my daughter's dad, and I made it a point to let him have her whenever he wanted. But there was a time for about a year when I didn't want him to have her for whatever reason. Hurt, anger, or whatever. Then, while at a court date for visitation, something came over me, and I bawled my eyes out. I felt so bad for keeping her from him. He wasn't a bad guy. Maybe he did some bad things, but it was at that point. I knew I was hurting him and my daughter because I was upset about the situation, and, if I'm being completely honest, the influence my current boyfriend at the time had over me. I allowed her dad to take her from court that day to spend time with her and gave him visitation. Once she got older, it was up to him and her to figure out when and how they could visit. I did not stand in the way. He pretty much had full access to her. She was his, and I wasn't standing in the way of his time with her. She was going to decide how she felt about him without my influence. The focus should be on fostering healthy co-parenting dynamics, even when emotions are raw. Encourage the children to maintain a strong and positive relationship with the parent who left. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behaviors or ignoring your feelings. It means separating your personal pain from your role as a co-parent. Demonstrating emotional maturity and respect toward the other parent teaches children that love, forgiveness, and cooperation are possible even in difficult circumstances. If you find it difficult to avoid using the children as a way to express your frustrations, consider seeking support from a therapist or counselor. Professional guidance can help you process your feelings in a healthy way while keeping your children's well-being at the forefront. Co-parenting classes or mediation can also provide tools and strategies for navigating this complex dynamic. Remember, your children are watching how you handle this situation, and your behavior sets the tone for their emotional development and understanding of relationships. By prioritizing their needs and showing them that it's possible to handle even the most challenging circumstances with grace and compassion, you're giving them a powerful example of resilience and emotional intelligence. Let your love for your children guide your actions, and always put their best interests above temporary feelings of anger or hurt. If a parent chooses to leave for another person, patience and sensitivity are critical. Do not push your children onto the new person in hopes they will like them. While children may initially react with strong emotions, time, consistency, and honest communication can help rebuild trust and create a new, stable dynamic. And don't speak badly about the new person. I know, that's a tough one. When you're hurt, angry, and grappling with betrayal, it's natural to want to vent those feelings. The new person may feel like the source of your pain, and it's tempting to let your emotions spill over in front of your children. But here's the hard truth. This person is likely not going anywhere, and how you handle this will shape your children's perception of the situation, and possibly their relationship with that individual. Speaking negatively about the new person in front of your children puts them in a complicated and painful position. Like speaking badly of their other parent, this too may make them feel they need to take sides, which can cause confusion and anxiety. If the new person becomes a significant figure in their lives, a step-parent or long-term partner, they'll need time and space to form their own opinions and navigate this new relationship. By speaking badly about the new person, you risk alienating your children or creating unnecessary tension that complicates their ability to adjust. Again, speaking on a personal front, this wasn't easy for me. My ex-husband had a child with another woman while we were together. And now I think about it. How did my daughter not know until recently? I guess she thought we were divorced by then, and the timeline didn't occur to her since she was so young. Anyway, I chose the high road on this. I was friendly with her. In my mind, it wasn't about her, although at the time, I hated everything about her. I wanted my daughter to have a relationship with her sister, which eventually became sisters, and she is very close to all of them now. And even more importantly, children are deeply influenced by how their parents handle adversity. If they see you rise above the hurt and choose not to engage in negativity, it teaches them emotional resilience and maturity. It also helps them understand that love and respect are possible even in difficult and complex circumstances. This doesn't mean you need to like or accept the new person on a personal level, but it does mean separating your feelings from the role they may play in your children's lives. Of course, this is easier said than done. It's normal to feel resentment or anger toward the new person, especially if their involvement came out of betrayal. Finding a healthy outlet for these emotions is key. Talk to a trusted friend, therapist, or counselor who can help you process your feelings constructively. Journaling or engaging in activities that bring you peace and perspective can also help you redirect those emotions away from your interactions with your children. I talked to anyone who would listen. I did all my spewing of hatred and resentment to anyone and everyone who wasn't my 5-year-old daughter. Ultimately, your goal is to ensure your children feel supported and loved, no matter how complex the situation may be. They don't need to carry the weight of your feelings toward the new person, nor should they feel guilty if they begin to build a relationship with them. By taking the high road and refraining from speaking badly about the new person, you create a space where your children can process and adapt to these changes without added emotional strain. It's a powerful way to show them that even in pain, you can lead with strength, dignity, and love. The decision to stay or leave must take into account not only your feelings and needs, but also the well-being of your children. While you can't shield them entirely from the consequences of your choices, You can approach the situation with empathy, clarity, and a commitment to their emotional health. Whether you stay and work to repair the marriage or leave and forge a new path, your actions will teach them valuable lessons about love, respect, and authenticity. The goal isn't to create a perfect situation, it's to navigate an imperfect one with integrity and care. The decisions you make now will have lasting impacts, not just on you, but on everyone involved. This is a crossroads, one that requires clarity and honesty. It's also an opportunity to examine your values, your priorities, and your willingness to take responsibility for the situation. Will you make choices that align with the person you aspire to be, or will you let fear, guilt, or avoidance dictate your path? The answer lies not in the statistics, but in your ability to reflect deeply and act intentionally. By doing so, you can ensure that no matter the outcome, you've approached this chapter of your life with integrity and thoughtfulness. But before telling the children, you have to tell your partner. Let's talk about the most nerve-wracking part, telling the truth. This is the moment that can redefine relationships, break old patterns, and open a door to a new chapter, whatever that may look like. Whether or not you decide to stay with your spouse, honesty is essential for moving forward with integrity. Carrying the burden of secrecy not only erodes trust, but also creates a barrier to understanding what you truly want. If you're still involved in the affair, now is the time to pause and reflect. Continuing an affair makes honest communication impossible because it keeps everyone, including you, trapped in a web of deception. It also prevents you from fully evaluating your feelings and intentions without external pressures. So, how do you begin to tell them? The first step is approaching the conversation with clarity and purpose. Before speaking to your spouse or partner, take time to reflect deeply on your intentions. Are you committed to saving your marriage and working through the pain of infidelity, or are you leaning toward pursuing the new relationship? This clarity will not only guide your words, but also provide a sense of direction as you navigate what comes next. Without understanding where you stand, the conversation risks becoming more hurtful, chaotic, or confusing for both parties. When you're ready to talk, honesty must be at the forefront of your approach. Avoid minimizing the situation or deflecting blame. This is the time to take full accountability for your actions and express your feelings in a way that is clear but compassionate. Understand that your spouse or partner will likely feel a mix of emotions. Shock, betrayal, pain, and anger are all natural and valid responses. They may ask tough questions, and you need to be prepared to answer them with transparency, even if the truth is difficult to share. This level of honesty is essential for both closure and healing, no matter the ultimate outcome. Equally important is giving your spouse or partner space to process what they've heard. This is not a conversation you can control or rush through. Their reaction may range from wanting immediate answers to needing time alone to process their emotions. Respect their need for space and time, even if their initial response feels overwhelming or hurtful. Remember, this is likely one of the most painful experiences they've faced, and patience is key. Your role in this moment is to provide clarity and honesty while remaining empathetic to their feelings, no matter how hard it may be. Ultimately, this conversation marks a turning point. It's the beginning of a process, whether that's rebuilding your relationship, pursuing a new one, or finding clarity about who you are and what you want. Telling the truth may be the most difficult step, but it's also the most important one for ensuring that whatever comes next is rooted in authenticity and respect. Let's be honest, many people say, "I would leave. No one is cheating on me." Well, I challenge that statement because unless you have been in that situation, you don't know how you would react. I have clients who say they have said this, but now that it's happened to them, they can't picture themselves without their partner and want to make it work. And to those who say, "I would never cheat, it goes against everything I am." I also challenge that statement. Listen, shit happens. You never know who is going to come into your life. Clients who have been cheated on often tell me they were shocked to find out their partner had an affair. Their family and friends tell them she was the last person they would expect to have an affair. I'm not saying you can't trust anyone. What I am saying is anyone is capable of having an affair, even if you say you would never do such a thing. It isn't often about your morals, it's more often about finding fulfillment in what is missing in your current relationship. So here's where we get to the heart of the matter. What do you actually want? This is the question that requires raw honesty with yourself. Are you staying in your marriage because of genuine love, shared history, and a belief that the relationship can be rebuilt? Or are you staying out of guilt, obligation, children, fear of the unknown, or even logistics? These are tough but necessary questions. A sense of duty to your spouse or family is understandable, but it cannot be the sole reason to remain in a relationship. For a marriage to heal and thrive after infidelity, there needs to be a foundation of mutual respect, commitment, and a genuine desire to move forward together. I had a client tell me she didn't want to leave her husband, who cheated on her because they would have to sell the house, and they just bought it so they would lose money. Then she went down the logistical route as to why she can't just leave. Nothing about staying because she wanted to work it out. Nothing about the children. Her husband wanted to work things out, but her only reason for counseling was that she wanted to figure out how to be amicable roommates due to bills. But on the other hand, if you're considering leaving for the other person, it's essential to evaluate that relationship with equal scrutiny. Do you truly see a sustainable future with them? Or is the connection largely fueled by the excitement, novelty, lust, or escape they represent? Affairs often magnify the positive aspects of the new relationship while downplaying its potential challenges. Once the secrecy and thrill are removed, the dynamics can change dramatically. It's important to ask yourself whether this new relationship is grounded in compatibility, shared values, and long-term potential, or if it's simply a temporary relief from the difficulties in your current situation. Working with a therapist or counselor can be a transformative step in gaining the clarity you need to answer these questions. A professional provides a neutral, non-judgmental space to explore the tangled layers of your emotions, fears, and hopes for the future. They can help you unpack the underlying reasons for your feelings, identify patterns in your relationships, and make decisions that align with your true desires and values. Whether your path involves rebuilding trust in your marriage, pursuing a new relationship, or choosing to be alone for a while, therapy offers tools and insights to navigate these crossroads with confidence and care. Understanding what you truly want isn't just about the relationships you're in. It's about aligning with the life you envision for yourself. Take the time to reflect, seek support, and make choices that honor your integrity and are best for you. If you choose to stay in your marriage, know that rebuilding trust will be one of the hardest but most rewarding challenges you will ever face. Trust, once broken, doesn't repair itself overnight. It requires a deep commitment to transparency, patience, and consistent effort. Be prepared to take full accountability for your actions without defensiveness or deflection. This means owning the choices you made and understanding their impact on your partner. Your spouse may experience lingering doubts, fears, or anger, and it's your responsibility to validate those feelings and work together to address them. Rebuilding trust also involves creating an environment where openness and honesty thrive. This might mean sharing more about your day-to-day life, communicating openly about your intentions, or being willing to participate in therapy together. Over time, these small but meaningful actions can lay the foundation for a stronger, more authentic relationship. While the road ahead may be difficult, the process of healing and growth can lead to a deeper connection and a renewed sense of partnership if both individuals are committed to the work. On the other hand, if you choose to pursue a new relationship, it's important to approach it with your eyes wide open. Relationships that begin with infidelity carry their own set of unique challenges. Trust issues often linger, as both partners may wonder whether infidelity could happen again. Societal judgments can also weigh heavily on the relationship, as family, friends, and even colleagues may question the integrity of your partnership. These external pressures can create added strain, especially in moments of conflict or doubt. Both you and the new partner will bring emotional baggage from the affair itself. Feelings of guilt, unresolved pain, or uncertainty about the relationship's foundation may surface over time. It's important to address these issues head-on, whether through open communication or professional counseling, to ensure that the relationship has a chance to succeed. Recognizing and addressing these challenges early on can help create a more stable and honest connection, but it requires both individuals to be fully committed to building trust and mutual understanding from the ground up. No matter which path you choose, the key is to move forward with intention, honesty, and self-awareness. Both choices, rebuilding a marriage or starting anew, come with significant challenges, but they also offer opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Loving two people at once is undeniably one of the most complicated emotional journeys a person can experience. It challenges you to look inward and confront some of the deepest questions about yourself. Who are you at your core? What do you truly want? What do you value most in life and in love? This emotional crossroads can feel overwhelming, but it also offers an opportunity for profound self-discovery and growth. While there's no easy or universally correct answer, there is always a way forward, one that's rooted in honesty, compassion, and a commitment to doing what's right for everyone involved. This is not a situation to rush through or handle impulsively. Take the time to reflect deeply. Allow yourself to sit with the discomfort and explore the full spectrum of your feelings. Why are you drawn to each person? What needs or desires are being fulfilled in these relationships? And most importantly, what kind of life and relationships do you ultimately want to develop? Answering these questions requires vulnerability and a willingness to be brutally honest with yourself. You don't have to navigate this journey alone. Seek support from trusted friends or family members who can provide perspective and emotional grounding. Consider working with a therapist or counselor who can help you untangle the complex layers of your emotions, fears, and hopes. Joining community groups or engaging with others who have faced similar challenges can also offer comfort and insight, reminding you that you're not alone in this experience. Above all, remember that love is complicated. It's rarely as tidy or straightforward as we might wish, yet it's also one of the greatest teachers we have. Love challenges us, shapes us, and shows us who we are in ways few other experiences can. No matter how difficult this situation may feel right now, it carries the potential for growth, clarity, and deeper connection with yourself and with others. Embrace this as a moment to learn and move forward with integrity, knowing that every step you take has the power to lead you closer to the life and relationships you truly desire. Well, our time is up for today's episode. Thank you for joining me on the wisdom of sex. If you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it. And if you have a question or topic you'd like me to cover, send it my way. And don't forget my new book is out, The Wisdom of Sex for the Neurodivergent and Disabled, and my other book, The Wisdom of Sex for Men. Both books are available now on Amazon and are exactly what their titles imply: taboo topics that need to be discussed. Also, my other two podcasts, Tales on the Couch, where I talk about true crime stories in less than 10 minutes, and Whispers of the White House, a podcast all about politics and scandals. Until next time, be open, be curious, don't be rude, know your limits, and stay wise.